Hi guys, welcome back. So right now we are still busy with some compound interest, but now we're going to look at what exactly does it mean when a financial institution or a bank for that matter says to you, we're giving you 5% per annum. And also, what do they mean when they say to you, we're giving you 5% per annum compounded monthly, compounded quarterly? What exactly does that mean? And we're going to give these two terms their names to say, if they give it to you as just 5% per annum, what do we call that? If they then give it to you as 5% per annum compounded monthly, what do we also call that? But let's just go to that. Now, so far, we are busy with compound interest. And compound interest is in two branches. There's what we call the effective interest rate, and we also have what we call the nominal interest rate. Now, with the effective interest rate, this is the true interest that an individual, so it's true that an individual earns over a given amount of time as a result of compounding, right? And this is always occurring annually. Now, let's understand this. If they say to you, we're giving you 5% per annum, that actually that you get there, if you compound it monthly and we give you the interest, that's the true interest that they normally give you, because there will be claim. The claim would be, we're giving you 5% per annum. But if they then start giving it to you on a monthly basis, that would therefore mean that you don't actually get 5% at the end of the year. You're going to get slightly more than that 5%, but we'll just see that now in a bit. Now, with nominal interest, this is the interest rate that a financial institution claims to give. So I just said now that if they say 5% per annum, that's a claim, but it will depend on the compounding period that they normally give you. Usually compounded a certain number of times in a year. So they will say to you 5% compounded monthly. That 5% compounded monthly, we call it the nominal interest rate. It's not the actual interest that you get at the end of your duration. It is actually going to be way more than that, or slightly more than that. Then also how we see the nominal interest rate is when there is a difference between the period interest is based on, which is the per annum in almost all the cases, and the compounding period. So if there is a difference between the per annum and the compounding period, then we call this the nominal interest rate. Have you ever thought about, is an annual interest rate of 8% compounded quarterly higher or lower than, sorry for that, this is actually supposed to be or, lower than an interest rate of 8% per annum compounded yearly? So if I give you interest on a quarterly basis and I give you interest on a yearly basis, which one will be higher between the two? Think about that. But to help you think about that, let's actually just investigate some more and see exactly what do we mean. Now, if I give you 1,000 rand and I say invest this 1,000 rand on a compound interest at 8% per annum, and then I want to know how much you will get for that. So this would therefore be A is equals to the 1,000 rand into 1 plus 0.08 to the exponent of 1, right? Because this is for 1 year. And if we calculate this, this is then going to be 1,000 open bracket 1 plus 0.08 to the exponent of 1, right? And that means it's 1,080 rands. So this you will get 1,080 rands at the end of 1 year. Okay, I hope you're still thinking about this. Now let's say, now we're no longer talking about it on a yearly basis. Now we are saying this is actually semi-annually. So I'm giving you this 8% divided into two portions for a year, right? Because it is still for a year. Now we need to calculate and see exactly what is it that we mean here. So this would therefore mean this is going to be A is equals to the 1,000 rand again, open bracket 1 plus, remember my interest is 8%, so that's 0.08 divided by 2, because I have two semi-annualities, that if we may call it that, meaning every 6 months, and then at the top here it will be 1 multiplied by 2. Why? Because you're getting the interest twice in that year. Now let's just calculate this and see exactly what it will be. So I will have 1,000 into 1 plus the 0.08 divided by the 2 to the exponent of 1 times 2 is just 2, therefore this will then give us 1,081 rand and 60 cents. So now this is 1,081 rand and 60 cents. Guys, remember that we need to include this 0 because we're dealing with South African rands. So it cannot be comma 6. No matter even if they said to you round off to 2 decimal places. I know we normally do not include the 0 when you round off to 2 decimal places, but under financial maths, that is a big deal. You need to include it because it represents the cents that we are dealing with. Now, look at what is happening here. The previous question, we actually got just 80 rands as the interest. Now we are getting 81 rand 60 cents as interest at the end of the year. Now, if we look at this, I want you to calculate the effective interest rate that the 1,000 actually gained in a year, right? But now, based on what? Based on the answer that we got for number 2, right? And the answer that we got for number 2 was actually 1,000 rand and 81 rands and 60 cents, right? So we're going to look at that. So this is what we have. To calculate the value of I here, I'm then going to say my A is equals to P into 1 plus I to the exponent of N. My P is 1,081 rands and 60 cents is equals to 1,000 into 1 plus the I is what we are looking for, and then the N will be 1 year, right? So that will just be the 1 there. But now remember that with number 2 that we dealt with, it was actually compounded semi-annually. So the I will actually need to be divided by 2, and that will be multiplied by the 2 there. And then if I'm just going to calculate everything on the calculator, and you will observe how that happens. So I'm firstly going to divide both sides by the 1,000. So the answer is already there. I divide it by the 1,000. It will give me that as the answer. Then I will take a square root on both sides of the answer, and that's what I'm going to get. And then you will then multiply this by the 2 there, and that will give me 2 comma. And then if I minus this from 1, or firstly we minus it from 1, so my answer, I divided this by 2, so I'm going to divide it by 2 first, and then minus the 1, and then multiply it by the 2 now. So you can see that it's 0.08, right? But the 0.08 is actually going to not be just 0.08, but it's going to be 8.16%. So the I is actually going to be 8.16%. Now, you can see that if we look at this, our conclusion is that the nominal interest rate of that compounded semi-annual is actually an effective interest rate of 8.16% per annum, right? Now, what are we saying here? The nominal interest rate is what the bank or a company if you are investing in a company, or shares if you are investing in shares. That's the interest that they claim to give you in a duration of your investment. But effectively, that's not what you're going to get. What you're going to get is what they will be giving you maybe as dividends each and every month, and how much that is going to be. So that's the big idea between the nominal and the effective interest rate. Now we have what we call the formula to calculate this. Let's look at the formula. So the formula to calculate the nominal and the effective interest rate will be something like this, right? 1 plus I effective is equals to 1 plus I nominal divided by M, all raised to an exponent of M. The I if, as you can see, is the effective annual rate. The I norm is the nominal interest rate, and then the M is the compounding periods per year. Now, the big idea here is compounding period per year, because when we want to convert between the effective and the nominal interest rate, we normally look at yearly basis, not for the duration of your investment. No, just on a yearly basis, we look at exactly what is happening there. Let's just look at maybe a question that wants us to use this formula. So they say calculate the nominal interest rate compounded monthly if the effective interest rate is 7.4%, right? So this means that my formula will be 1 plus I effective is equals to 1 plus I nominal divided by the M to the exponent of M. Now, I know that you're going to maybe wonder whether you're going to get this formula or not. Unfortunately, you're not going to get this formula on the information sheet. The other financial maths formulas, you're going to get them. But this one, you really, really need to pay attention and memorize it, please, and know it. Now, our I effective that they told us we have is the 7.4%. So that's 0.074. And this is equals to, I'm looking for the nominal interest rate, 1 plus the I nominal. They said this is compounded monthly. So M, remember we said, is the compounding period per year. And this will be for a year, so that makes the M to be 12, because in a year we have 12 months. And then I will then also go to my calculator. Now remember, I have 1 plus the 0.074, and that will give me that amount there. And then I will take the 12th root. I will take the 12th root on both sides. So let's just go up there and remove that. That's 12. And inside here, it's supposed to be my answer that I got. And that's what I'm going to get, right? And then you subtract 1 here, which will give me that. Then you multiply this by the 12, which will actually give me, if I multiply this by 100, you can see it's going to give me 7.16, right? So this is I nominal is equals to 7.16%. Now let's actually look at what has happened here. It means that the bank would have said to you, no, we give you 7.16% per annum compounded monthly. But your actual interest that you're actually going to get will be slightly more than that. So you can see that between nominal and effective interest rate, what do you need to do? You need to make sure you know when they say we give you 10%, what 10% is that? Is it 10% nominal interest, or is it 10% effective interest? Because that will help you to know how your investment is going to be after a certain period of time. So you need to make sure that you understand this properly, please. Effective interest rate is the actual interest you get after a certain duration of time, And the nominal interest rate is what I, maybe as a financial institution, would say, no, bring your money to me, I'm going to invest it, I'm giving you this much as the interest back. But that's not the actual interest, because it depends on what? The compounding period that you're getting this interest for. Guys, let's go to an ad break and we'll be back with some more.